Welcome to the Calcio Blog's second ever podcast and YouTube video. This one might work a little bit better on YouTube than if you just listen in because I'm being joined by Danny. Danny is a Atalanta shirt collector. We met somewhat fortuitously on my last trip to Bergamo a few weeks ago. We ended up having a nice lunch together and a few beers, and he had some good stories, and I thought it was something that you should all hear as part of my wider audience as you grow a little bit. So, Danny, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, no, it was a very fortuitous meeting, totally by chance. Yeah, but I suppose that's what football's all about. Unites
They
everyone.
tend to be the most entertaining ones, don't they? Yeah. So I've made a little bit of an effort. I'm wearing an Inter replica Missouri, but
Yeah, the black and blue is fitting. They're still both Nerazzurri, so I'll let
that's
you
it.
up there.
Yeah. If I just duck down and you can't see the star, then I could be an Atalanta fan, couldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, truth be told, this is a £39.99 copy from the club store at the San Siro. So
I
you know
still came
that one
from the club
you're
shop,
wearing
though.
seems a bit more genuine maybe than mine.
Yeah,
And
this
you've got
is
Lookman on the
that.
wall behind you, which and again, as an Inter fan, we won't really talk too much about
Well,
what's going on
that
between the
shirt
two clubs.
is from a game against Inter.
Is it? Okay, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they
3-2
win?
loss though.
3-2 loss.
Inter
Okay.
won 3-2. Yeah.
Then we can allow it, yeah. So we'll dive straight in, Danny. Why Atlanta? I mean, I know why, because we've already spoke. Bit of a spoiler alert. We do a bit of research before we start talking on here, but you've got to tell for everyone else why Atalanta, because you don't have ties in Italy.
That's true, yeah. It was a bit of an odd sort of like chance of happening. I remember just I watch a lot of football related documentaries and stuff on YouTube, and Copa 90 do a series of ones called Derby Days, and they cover various derbies throughout Europe. And I'd got into watching a couple of these, and there was one between about the derby, the Lombardia derby, which is Brescia and Atalanta. And I watched that, and I was just like, wow, like the way it explored these two teams and the way that Atalanta constantly punch above their weight. I felt a little bit enamored because I've always quite enjoyed an underdog story and hearing about this team that are in the shadow of Milan constantly, just especially over the last
Yeah, I
5 6
was going to
years.
sort of jump onto that a little bit because a Lombardy derby that doesn't involve either Milan team is different. Do you feel like there's a bit more passion on show because the teams have a point to prove a little bit that they're also there and they exist, or is it more sort of actually fuck them, we're our own thing?
I think it is something I think it's one that people probably wouldn't necessarily associate with Lombardy, but I think in its own right, I would say it's more of an intense derby between Atalanta and Brescia. Well, when Brescia did exist, if we're going to be really technical about it, yeah, yeah. But I think it's more the one Milan derby is more of I would class as a mainstream derby because a lot of people know about it, and I wouldn't say it's as intense. I don't think because you see the fans in San Siro mixing the share of stadium. It's all a bit touristy, I think, as the
Yeah.
years have gone
It's
on.
sold
Whereas
out of it, isn't it? It's that rock band that sold out their punk roots to sell records. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Whereas Atalanta and Brescia is a little bit more raw. There is a sort of a deep hatred there between the two teams. I would say it's. I mean, I'm sad that we'll never get to see it again. There'll be no Atalanta Brescia thing. It'll be Union Brescia if they ever get to Syria, or if Atalanta, God forbid, get relegated. But yeah, I think it's a little bit more raw and unfiltered compared
Yeah.
to the Milan derby.
No, 100%. So for our English audience, then Atlanta's probably more familiar, not just because of David Raya's penalty save last season, but there was a recent European trophy in Atalanta's history. Talk to us about that night.
Yeah.
You were there in Dublin, yeah?
I was, yeah. So Dublin was just crazy. It was sensational. Like I just think everybody had counted us out, and I think it was everything for that night just went correctly. I was there for the Liverpool game when we beat them 3-0 at Anfield. I was there for the Marseille game when we beat them 3-0 at our spot, and it just felt like through that European run, every team just underestimated what Atalanta were capable of, and they just came out firing on that evening. And Lookman with possibly one of the best final performances I think I've ever seen in my life, and I think I'll be very hard pushed to find a better one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as someone who grew up in the southeast of England, watching a former Charlton Athletic reject, so to speak, strutting his stuff in the European final, getting a hat trick. Was it in the final
Yeah, it was just I
against a
just
team that had
I don't think
not lost a single game all season as well?
yeah, 51 games unbeaten and being pummeled 3-0 by a team who
The
were
third best team
just
in
like I
Lombardy.
say,
Yeah,
yeah, just constantly just punching above their weight in every game. The game against Liverpool, winning 3-0 in the first leg. I mean, I was in absolute ecstasy that game, and I don't think anything could describe the feeling of Dublin.
fantastic. So, talk to me about the shirts then, because there are a lot of English people who follow Italian teams. I'm finding more and more sort of through my adventures that I'm going on at the moment, but I don't think any of them collect shirts, and certainly not to the level you do. What started it, or why?
Well, it's funny because it was sort of, I think, like most sort of recent shirt collectors, especially ones I know, was almost most of it was heightened through COVID. So obviously having spare income, not knowing what to do with it, and then
Nothing to do
I
with your time, yeah.
yeah, well, this thing I collected shirts, and it wasn't a case of just collecting. I wasn't like a sole Atalanta collector. I collected. I had, dare I say it, like blasphemy. I had Lazio, I had Juve, I had Milan, I had Inter. I had shirts that reminded me of a kid. And
Hmm.
then as sort of the love for Atalanta grew, then I was like, well, surely it makes sense to combine the two. And yeah, what I've amassed in the 3 or so years I've been following Atalanta is like I would never have dreamed of owning some of the stuff that I've got.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so we'll move on to some of the stories now, because when we had that boozy lunch in Bergamo, introduced by Tommy that night, which was a bit random and off the cuff, certainly for me, but you told some good stories. There's a very good one I want you to tell now about. Is it Slovenia you ended up in trying to get a shirt signed?
So it will have been maybe last year or so. I'd set myself a target because I think I've got to the point in collecting where I was like, I want a little bit like sort of more exclusive shirts. So I've sort of started dabbling in match ones, and I wanted four main ones, and the main ones were Dulan Zapata, Papo Gomez, Luis Muriel, and Josip Ilicic. Because I was like days of recent Atalanta history, so I was like, right, okay, let me try and find an Ilicic shirt. I found one on a guy on Instagram was selling it. Paid €500 for it because they're just so very rare to find. And
Yeah.
this one was particularly was from our birthday match that we get every year. So it's got a special patch on the sleeve. So I was like, right, cool, I'll buy it. And I bought it, and I think I did a video sort of last October saying, right, I've got a plan to go to Slovenia, but I'm not too sure how it's going to work. And then sort of towards the back end of last year, I was like, right, if I'm serious about going, let's just like start planning it out. So I did, and yeah, in January, end of January, I was like, right, let's go. Let's go to Slovenia, see how it works. So I flew to Vienna. I got a 3 hour coach from Vienna to Maribor. But prior to that, I'd put a tweet out on saying that I was coming to Maribor, and if anyone could help me get a ticket for the match, or like to be able to get the shirt signed, like I'd really appreciate it. And for whatever reason, the algorithm absolutely blessed me because there's a guy there called Giga who messaged me and said, I'm from Maribor. It's really weird that I've seen this tweet, but I'll try and help you as much as I can. I was like, perfect. So we talked the weeks leading up to it, and he says, I've texted my friend. He's given me the number of somebody else who knows Ilicic, and Ilicic wants to meet you. And I
Whose
think my
missus
stomach
cuts
just
his dog's wife's
dropped.
hair?
I think my stomach just dropped. So yeah, that I think I got there on the Friday. The game was on the Saturday. I think it was like 10 o'clock Saturday morning. He said, right, okay, my mum's going to pick you up and take us to the training to the training ground at like 11 o'clock.
I was driving him
Citron,
around Maribor.
yeah, at 11 o'clock in the morning, the Citroen Picasso pulls up out front of the hotel and takes me right up to the top of them, like almost like the base of this mountain where this like holiday retreat is. And we sit there for a couple hours. Turns out Giga's never met Ilicic before. It's completely new to him. He brought his brother along with him, and we just sort of sat there for a couple of hours talking. And then we moved into sort of indoor area, and this big, muscly Slovenian guy comes over, starts speaking to Giga, I'm thinking maybe they're asking us to go away, like they're asking us to wait outside. And Jiggy turns to me and says, "Oh no, that's the guy who knows Ilicic. He said it'll be about sort of half an hour, and then they'll come and see us." And I was like, and I can feel my heart going, and I'm like, okay, no worries, no worries. And then yeah, like it must have been the longest half hour of my life. And sure enough, the team starts walking in the front door, and I see him, and he walks on over, and he introduces himself. And in my mind, all I can think is like, you're introducing yourself. I know exactly who you are. Like, and I was like, I need to make an effort to speak to him in Italian because I didn't know if he speaks English. No, perfect English. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Josip, and I was just like tripping over my words. It was just crazy.
You've had all that time on the bus from Vienna to prepare what to say, and it's gone.
Yeah, and he just completely caught me off guard. Like, just how polite and being a footballer that well known and still introducing yourself with your name. Like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, it seems bizarre, doesn't it?
So,
Yeah, but
yeah.
So there's still a few humble ones out there, aren't there?
Yeah, I think he was just very grateful to and a bit sort of astounded to see that I'd come all the way from the UK just to see him. I think it's
maybe he was a bit worried about you. Maybe he thought I best not upset this guy because he's come a long way just
if
to
he's
see
willing
me
to
for
put in
some
this
reason.
effort, what's he capable of? No, that was crazy. Yeah, and I got it signed, and it lives in the collection, and it will soon
So have you
be on
completely just
the
set them before you
Legends
want
wall.
they're all signed? The Legends wall, yeah. Are you taking Lookman down after his behaviour this summer?
No, it's a difficult one. I sort of agree with it a little bit. And maybe it's sort of a bit of a different stance to what most people would say, but it's one of them.
Are you the only man that's in Bergamo that does? Yeah.
Well, it's difficult. In the past few days, I've seen a lot of people turn around and say they'd give him a second chance. He's just been included in our Champions League squad.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
There is an integration there, but I think if I'm a footballer and I've been somewhere for 3 years, I've helped them get into Europe consecutively. We've won the Europa League. I scored a hat trick in the final. I've played my skin out, and then last summer I'd turn around and say, next summer I want to leave, and they go, right, okay, stay with us one other year, and you can leave next summer. And that next summer comes around, and you don't let me leave. What control do you actually have?
Yeah. It's a fair point, isn't it? The player still has a career in their short careers. It's difficult to hear a fan saying it, really, because fans normally are like, no, you play for my team, you're contracted to my team, you'll fucking play for my team.
I suppose
Although you can see it from their point of view, normally the fans don't. It's normally the fans of other clubs that see it from their point of view, you know?
I think that's one thing that sort of supporting Atalanta has taught me is that players aren't going to stick around forever. We're not a huge team. We've tried to challenge for the Scudetto. We might win it, but it's not something that we're going to challenge for every year.
Yeah, it's an odd one with them, isn't it? Because I mean, I support Gillingham in the UK, and we're never going to really win anything or amount to much other than the odd promotion or relegation here and there. So when I was choosing an Italian football team, I went with trophies and chose Inter Milan. You've got another way. You've chosen a team that is sort of, I don't know, for English people that aren't too familiar with Italian football, maybe like a Aston Villa or Newcastle. So they're there or thereabouts, but they're not quite there.
Maybe
They're just
maybe a Spurs. Or a bit like a Tottenham team. We don't really win trophies.
In that can you?
No, but we don't win trophies. That Europa League is the first one since 1962-63 when they won the Coppa Italia. We've been certainly since I've been supporting them. They've been to Coppa Italia finals. I went to the one in Rome against Juve last year. Probably one of the worst displays of football I've ever seen from Juve. They were the worst team ever to win a game against us.
But Juve do that a lot, though, don't they? Yeah?
It was such terrorist football. It was when that Allegri kicked off and he threw his tie on the floor and he ripped his jacket. Yeah, it was just horrid.
Did you see him on last Friday night shouting "Karma, karma" to his own player when they had to throw it?
Yeah, that was Musa, so we just signed him.
Yeah, you've just got him. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he went down injured and kicked him as well on the floor. But going from supporting Chelsea, sort of growing up, and then towards obviously the later stages, and seeing them win Champions League, leagues, FA Cups, and then almost making this conscious effort to say, right, I don't really feel an identity with Chelsea. I feel more connection with a club in Atalanta in Italy than I think I
Yeah.
ever done with any other team before. And it's like I say, it's taken a different step in the other direction and going and choosing
It,
no trophies over trophies and
it's an
still
odd one,
being
isn't it?
happy.
Because even a club the size of Inter are fully interested in me and why I'm there. And, even though they are a big team, they're still very confused as to what an English bloke's doing out there and, 6, 7 times a season. Like, what? But why? I just like the team, man.
Yeah,
Your
why are
kicks are
you
great.
here?
You got some great players in the past, and this stadium's fantastic. Why wouldn't I come?
Well, and that's ultimately the thing that I think that a lot of English people sort of miss out on is that difference in culture. It doesn't matter who you are. You could go and watch, and I would say we'll take it. You could go all the way to watch Juve Stabia, and people would still treat you like you were the first person ever. One person to go watch Juve Stabia. They would be so enamored with the fact that you're
Yeah.
there.
And the fan integration, I know there's a lot of protest at the minute, the big clubs, Inter and Milan especially, about how the clubs are starting to treat the fans. But, if they spent a season following the Premier League team, they'd see that actually the fans are integrated so much more in the Italian football than they are. I know they're very upset with various things and they'll have their reasons, and we won't get into that really at the moment. But, spend a year watching Arsenal or Chelsea and tell me that you're just a number as an Italian fan, yeah, there's a lot to be admired about the fan experience in Italy, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. My probably best example is the Marseille game. So as soon as we beat Liverpool, and then there's the second leg, I booked flights immediately to Bergamo for the second leg against Marseille. I was like, I need to be there. It was my birthday. I was like, I don't have a ticket. I couldn't get a ticket for love nor money. I was just, I need to be there for what could potentially be like one of the most historical nights. And I was speaking to a friend of mine out there, Matteo, and he was like, right, let me see what I can do. I'll speak to someone at Atalanta, see if they can get you a ticket. And sure enough, I don't know how he did it, but the club found me a ticket.
Yep.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, you wouldn't get that. Like maybe if you were like lucky enough and you knew someone who was in, you might get that in England. But to find a ticket in a sold out stadium of 24,000, and
Yeah. It's insane, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
it was just like was crazy. And like I said, I think that treatment sort of solidified why I support Atalanta, because it was just
Yeah. Yeah.
they
100%.
put my feelings first rather than just thinking about money, because they could have charged me an exponential amount for the ticket. They charged me
Yeah. You can get him, but
30
it's a
euro.
grand. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
no,
charged me
listen,
30
and
euro.
it's something that every time I go to Italy, I end up adding another team to my sort of watch list because, we first went over and it was just Inter Milan. And then I went over last season and went to Parma, and those guys at Parma were really so nice, and they got me in, and they made sure I went back with a scarf and drunk that evening as well.
Yeah,
And then obviously came to Bergamo, met with Tom, and then with yourself, and everyone's just been so welcoming. It's hard not to keep adding. I'm going to get a reputation for supporting every team in Italy at some point, but apart from Juve, probably.
yeah, fuck you, yeah. I think that's another thing that brings every fan in Italy together. Just the mutual hatred of Juventus. You could support.
They're Manchester City, they're Bayern Munich, aren't they? And their countries are just,
I would
unless
say
you're a
they're probably
Juve
even
fan,
worse
everyone hates.
than. I think they're worse than Man City.
Do you think? Oh no, so
I
they're
would
not. I mean, I'm a Gillingham fan, so they're not worse than Man City to me. So we'll never forget that
maybe,
'99
yeah.
playoff.
I just think in terms of everything, I think they stand for is just, well, especially recent history. Not so much now. They were known for very bullying teams into selling their best players. And it doesn't seem they're very capable of doing that now.
Yeah, which is nice to see, isn't it? But we do have a lot of Juve fans that follow us the account, so we'll maybe draw the line there and say, you've got your place and enjoy that. But so
I'll
talk
put
to me
it
about
that
shirts because, oh, sorry, yeah,
everyone's
talk to me about shirts. You've got your favourite ones. I presume that's one of the ones you're wearing. That's what you were wearing when we first met.
This is my all-time favorite. Yes, I do actually have. Let me just grab a couple. Two. I
Okay,
have
so they're
three.
spectacular. I think long sleeve is always more spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah, the long sleeve ones are nice, but I do have three of the same shirt because I love it that much. I have some.
Yeah. So
To be
you
fair,
can actually
I have
wear
some
them and
crazy
keep
ones.
them fresh still by rotating. Yeah.
That's my oldest one. This one is 1984-85.
Okay, so that's older than me.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and obviously I'm 1995, so it's older than me by 10 years. It's absolutely pristine. It's not worn or anything. I think it's like a size medium, so I will never fit in it. Thank God. because I
Yeah,
I think I
we
would be
should say for
tempted.
anyone aspiring to collect Italian shirts, size up about 3 sizes because
Definitely, yeah.
The Italian extra large is not a UK extra large. They are considerably fitter people than we are in the UK.
It's horrific. Well, it's like some of the match ones that I have, like Ilicic is an XL, but Skamak is a double XL. Even
But he's
Retegi's an
tiny.
XL. Yeah, yes,
And
yeah.
these are small
Yeah,
people. They're just,
Retegi's
yeah,
an XL.
they're built differently down there, aren't they, in the Mediterranean? We don't know. So, but this, sorry, back to shirts, really, if we should get on it. That one that you're wearing there, it's not an Adidas shirt, but it's got that Germany sort of 1980s, late
Yes,
80s look about it with the design.
yes.
Did the company
An
just decide to
area.
rip it off, or is there some association there?
There is a creative use of the lines. They're not exactly the same. They're in a little bit of a different sequence compared to that Germany 1990. But an area,
There's
I
a clear
think,
aesthetic they're heading for there, right?
a bit of an inspiration from what I can tell, that they quite liked the design and went,
It is
we'll use that
beautiful,
for
to
a
be
couple of
fair.
our teams.
Yeah. So actually, this season's away shirt as well for Atlanta. I do like. I did try and get one at the club shop after the game, but you've got it there hanging up, right?
This one, yes.
That one, yeah,
This
it is a
one is
beauty.
for me it's a saving grace. The home one is absolutely horrific. The third one is a bit weird now. The orange one, it's got like tire tracks
That's
on it. I'm not
just
too
been
sure.
released. Yeah.
Yeah,
You obviously don't have one there, so I'll edit in an image of it as we talk
but
about it there. But it's
with
Kolasinac, yeah. So there's another link to
yeah,
England, the former Arsenal centre back that wasn't particularly
Kolasinac, I
loved over
think,
there. But
he's another player. Like for me, he completely and totally embodies like Bergamo to a T. He's a hard-working Bosnian man who will just keep running and absolutely just batter anything in his path.
yeah, absolutely, and fair play to him if he's got a career out of doing that.
Well, this is the thing. Fighting off knife attackers as well. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we talked best shirts. Was that a can of Stella?
No, it's a kind of monster. No Stella.
Because it's Friday night, you'd be quite within your rights. It's not a problem. But look,
I
we talk best shirts.
I only drink when I'm abroad.
Yeah. I wish I could say the same. I've come here from the pub to do that. But so listen, talk to me worst shirts. What do you look at and go, God, did we really have that shirt? Really?
I think anything for the sequence between 2007 and 2014 for Atalanta, which is Araya. They are some of the worst shirts. You know what? I don't think I actually own an Araya shirt. That's how bad.
Even
Oh,
as a
no, maybe I
collector,
do.
you're going to draw the line here.
Wait a second. I think I do. I actually think I have one. Where is it? It's actually on like my pile of like bad shirts. Let me just find it. Is it there?
How much
Might
is
have
it
moved
listed
it.
for and vintage?
It's not. I haven't made it. Oh, there it is. The only, well, I think one of the only ones I have was this one.
Yes. Yeah.
With Gianpaolo Bellini on the back, but only
Yeah.
because he is
I'm
such
not
a
sure about
legend for the
those
club.
off-center stripes and the collection of sponsors. It's one of my bugbears with Italian football is collections of sponsors rather than a sponsor.
Well,
I know
yeah,
they don't have
which
the
is
same
why I think
income.
that's why I like the later sponsor this year, because it reminds me very much of this Tamoil sponsor, which was right in the middle, just perfectly nice. But yeah, those Araya shirts are awful. Just really bad. Just like sort of nerd.
And is it just shirts or is it anything you get your hands on in the Atlanta club shop?
Well, let's have a look at what we've got. I have this, which is cool. So there is an ultras group in the Curva Sud called Brigates. This is Brigate. This is a Brigate bomber jacket for the ultras group, which I found. I haven't worn it yet. I really want to wear it, but it's very bulky, and I don't think I could get away with it.
It's
And I'd have to sort of have it.
And it's odd for an ultras group to have something that's not completely all black.
Well, yeah, it's obviously pre-modern ultras. I have this. This is my matching jacket to go with the shirt that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I bought this for £40 from a guy who lived in Hull.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
In Hull.
Yeah, so he was on Twitter and he was selling it, and he's an Arsenal fan. So I thought, well, maybe he lives in London. So I messaged him and said, "Oh, I'm in London this weekend." Get up, and he went, "Oh, I know I support Arsenal, but I'm from Hull." And I was like, "It's really weird because I'm from Hull." And he went, "Well, do you know where this B&Q is?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Well, I'll see you in about an hour then." So I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So yeah, I paid £40 for it from a guy in Hull. What else we
You've
got?
picked up in a B&Q. It
Yeah.
couldn't be more classic British there, could it? Yeah.
I've got this training shirt, which is I clearly very rarely see Atalanta, which is red and black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's training wear. There's in the early 90s, Parmalat did a series of jumpers. You might have seen them, La Felpe de Grandi, and this is the Atalanta one. I have three.
And do you have
There
any
are Inter
goalkeeper
ones,
shirts
but
in the collection, or is it just outfield kits?
yes, another one. Let's just grab.
We didn't prepare any of this earlier. It's handy you've got it all there.
So I have this
'Cause, I
one.
mean, 90s goalkeeper kits, we've got to say, just the classics. There we go. Look, that's
This
fantastic.
is worn by Fabrizio Ferron, who played
Okay, well,
for
there you go.
Atalanta and Sampdoria. But
Big pad
it's
shirt as
covered
well,
in
yeah. Nice summer
stars.
pictures.
And then there is this one, which is very well less known, which is red and black, which looks like a Milan shirt. But that is,
A little bit, yeah.
yeah, that is. I
Is
think
that something definitely steered away from Atalanta as well, then, the red and black, usually?
yeah, to be fair, I've never worn it. I've always sort of felt the temptation to wear it, but I am terrified that
You don't see
somebody
many people
may
wear goalkeeper
confuse it.
shirts to matches anyway, do you, really?
The only one I've actually worn a couple of times is this one, which I've never seen before, but I've had it confirmed by Fabrizio Ferron that it was made available to him, but they never wore it. This is the only one I've wore like a few times.
So that's even rarer then, if it's a real one of his shirts, but he never wore it.
It's not one. It's one that he could have worn, but they never did. So they never really produced it. But yeah, it's player issue. Yeah,
Lotto as
I
well,
think I
which
bought
is a great
classic football.
Italian brand.
Yeah, unreal. But yeah, to be fair, some of my best shirts are Lotto as well. Like I'm very hard pushed between this one and a couple of others that we've got. But yeah, a lot of cool shirts. This one's Lotto as well. The raindrop shirt.
See,
Yeah.
there's a sort of magical period, sort of mid-80s to mid-90s, where football shirts they were just fucking brilliant, weren't they? And
Yeah, there was just that freedom there to sort of have what you wanted.
and you know what, I remember at the time as well, looking at them when I was a kid in the 90s, thinking, oh, I don't really like that. That's a bit weird. But now you look back and think, God, I wish I bought that at the time.
I'm trying to find one of my other ones. Ah, there we go. This one's a special one because it's signed by Christian Vieri.
There you go. And that's an absolute legend of Calcio right there.
Yeah, Bobo Vieri spent one season at Atalanta.
What sort of stage of his career was that? I mean, it looks old. It must have been early.
26.
Okay, so
A young Christian Vieri before I moved to Juve. Yeah, went to Juve after that.
Okay.
I've got.
He's an odd one, Vieri, isn't he? Because he played at Juve, played at Milan, he played at Inter.
Fiorentina,
you get a lot of players that do it,
Milan.
but you don't get many that end up as legends at all of them. And him and maybe Baggio, I suppose, would be the other one.
Yeah, not yeah. What I'm trying to think, it was like a recent one who's played for most of those clubs. Mattia Destro, maybe.
Destro, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, there's not that
Still
many. Çalhanoğlu played at both Milans, I suppose, but yeah,
no, yeah, but
to the hat trick.
Milan hit one.
This is, and without really getting onto to the wider issues in Italian football, it used to be the pinnacle, didn't it, for Italian players to play at one of those big three clubs, and you could even do the rounds between them. But you know, now they're so quick to get out of the country. Saw Leone go to Liverpool very recently. Coppola went to Brighton. You know, there's almost an exodus of these talented young Italians at the moment. They're not. You know, without going into too much detail, because we're already at half an hour, what do you really see that issue as? Is it just a lack of opportunity? I mean, Atalanta do blood youngsters. Gasparini's been famous for it, isn't he? But
I think it is. I think it's just the lack of appeal, maybe. I think Serie A had its day during those early 90s. All
of the sugar daddy owners, yeah.
Just the amount of immense talent they had between the early 90s towards the early 2000s, Batistuta, just incredible names. And I think between that period,
cliff, isn't it, really, in terms of names?
Go to the Premier League or go elsewhere because the opportunities are much better for them there.
Yeah, you know, Italy win a lot of youth tournaments, and then, you know, there's a question about whether they'll qualify for the World Cup, and that, if they don't, it's their third in a row that they've missed. It's insane, really. If you think the last World Cup, I think, was it the last World Cup they played and they won? No, it can't be.
No,
2006.
they were in They did. They obviously they won
They beat England in
2006.
2010, actually. So yeah, we won't.
Yeah, I was
We'll
gonna say
switch with it.
2010. Yeah, they went. They were 2010. I think they might have been in 2014.
2014, yeah, they beat England. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
won't talk too deeply on that.
yeah, because they won the. I think they won 2016 year. They won. Oh, they won 2020 Euros as
They
well.
won the Euros in England. That's the one, isn't it? Yeah, and they've not qualified for the tournament since. So yeah, we'll skip
No,
over that as quick as we can. That was a bleak day at
but
Wembley.
I would say that's probably due just down to the fact that, like you said, players just don't want to stay. So I mean, the best example of the summer is Retegui.
Yeah. Yes, to lose it, his top scorer, the Capo Cannoniere from last season, out to Saudi Arabia. It's just, you know,
I was
what
stunned.
was he, 26, 27? He's got a career ahead of him. Give it three,
Yeah,
4 years and go.
completely about 20 million a year. If someone turns around to you and says, "I know you're really enjoying your job at the minute, but I will pay you 20 million a year to come to here for 3 years. Are you going to do it?" Yeah, 60 million. Of course I
Yeah.
am.
I walk there, to be honest, for that sort of money.
Yeah, it's just
But yeah,
crazy.
just
We
quickly
nearly.
then before we tie up then, Dan, any other shirts from Italy that sort of on the bucket list to tick off? Is there anything
I
that you
don't
really like?
think
Yeah.
I could bring myself to earn anyone's, just because I think I'd get a little bit too much backlash. I can't call myself Atalanta Shirts UK on Instagram and start posting like Juve or
No.
Milan.
So what
The
about,
only one of the
is there a bucket list
one of the
Atalanta shirt
only
you're on?
I've got, trying to think, that the Vieri one with the summit on front has turmoil on one of them, and before they had the switch. But in it's bad to say, but I've got a lot of shirts that I set out to get. There are very few that I don't have that I want.
Actually, just quickly, there was one you were telling me about where there was a misprint of the skyline on the shirt. Is this correct?
Yes, I should have it here.
So I'd nearly forgotten
Yeah,
about that. It was one of my favourite stories you told me when we were over there.
yeah. So this is
It
the
sort of really leans into the sort of
notorious.
Italian sort of, yeah, they will just chuck something on a shirt and it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
this is 21-22. The Christmas shirt was printed with a lovely skyline of Bergamo. That's not the Bergamo sky. That's the skyline of Turin. Yes, and there it is, the Turin skyline Atalanta shirt from 21-22. That
I
was.
love it because anyone that's been to Italy will know that it's all sort of very much, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. We'll go with it. That's got through a lot of quality control before it was released to the market
Yeah,
with the
I
wrong
remember.
skyline on it.
I remember seeing it in the store when I was there, and I think it was like 140 euro.
Yeah,
A few
absolutely.
weeks
Misprints, yeah.
later, it
Like
was
with
just,
money and stuff and
yeah,
stamps, misprints are the ones, yeah.
fine with me. But this shirt from Italy, which is quite a nice one, which is Tanana,
Okay, yeah.
an ABM shirt, and Tanana and Atalanta are friends.
There
One
you
of
go,
our
yeah.
friendship clubs. So
Yeah,
if to
there's
make an exception,
a
it is
lot
a
of these
lovely
friendships
shirt.
going on, isn't there, across Italy, which is, it's odd to
I
see,
always
like,
found that funny.
ultras in the same section at some games and stuff.
Yeah, you don't really get that in England. You don't get sort of Hull fans turning up at like a Blackburn game going, "Oh, we love Blackburn. Blackburn are our mate."
I went to the game when Inter won their second star when they lifted the Scudetto against Lazio, and we were in the ultra section. It was full of Lazio fans. There was the ultras from Lazio and Inter are best pals for political reasons again that we won't go into because they're not the most glorious political reasons, but they are good friends and it was just full of Lazio fans. It was very bizarre. Yeah.
I do find it slightly we've got another friendship. We've got a friendship with Frankfurt as well. So we've drawn them in the Champions League.
Saw that. Yeah. It's from COVID, the friendship, right?
Yeah. So we well, I'm trying to go. It's actually quite expensive. A lot more expensive than I thought. So probably will go because it'll be cool to be. It'll be one. It's one of those like you'll be able to go in the stand wearing an Atalanta shirt and not find
Yeah.
yourself getting in any trouble, which
Yeah.
I always find quite weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Well, look, we'll wrap this up because I've just got the warning on my energy saver on my laptop now. So, just before you go, Danny, where can everyone find you on various socials?
On X, I am Birdie Shirts, and on Instagram, I am Atalanta Shirts UK. One of the only Atalanta shirt collectors in the UK, if not the only one. Yet to
I
find
think you
another,
might be
but
the
yeah.
only, apart from the bloke that lives up the road from you by B&Q.
Well, I know he's an Arsenal fan, so he hasn't got anything Atalanta anymore.
No worries. Well, look, thanks for your time, Danny. We'll wrap that up now. I'll let you get on with your Friday
Yeah,
night, and
sweet.
we'll yeah. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
No, cheers.